ride together, we die together. Bad boys for life. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Gang first, last. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Welcome to Brews and Reviews with Mick and Pat. I'm Mick.
And I'm Pat.
And each week we sit down with you degenerates to pretend we're certified cicerones and cinephiles.
That's right. So grab a cold one and join us as we review Great Divide's Wild Raspberry and give our first takes of the FX original, The Bear.
And if you've been with us before, you know what time it is.
Release the Kraken!
We're foaming.
Awesome. So this week, we're doing Wild Raspberry by Great Divide. Thematically, makes sense because it's got a bear on the can. And honestly, that's why I grabbed it. It's because in the liquor store, I was looking for the thing that I could think made the most sense to have with this show, the bear. And this was the first one I saw. So, first takes. I mean, I haven't had this before. Have you had this before?
I have not.
Yeah. Are you much of a Great Divide guy?
I like Great Divide. My first experience with Great Divide was in middle school, where I was given a Yeti Imperial Stout t-shirt, and I wore it to school. And I didn't know it was a beer shirt. I just thought it was a shirt with a Yeti on it. And you're not allowed to wear beer shirts at school, especially in middle school. So
most people know that's a beer shirt.
I got away with it.
Yeah.
But then I finally found out about it, and I felt like a real bad boy for wearing my beer shirt.
Dude, I gotta be honest. I feel like if I wore a Budweiser or a Coors Banquet shirt to middle school, most of my teachers would have thought it was awesome.
Maybe. I bet they would, but they still would have had to have done something about it.
Probably like that. Anyways, Wild Raspberry. It's an ale. I thought it was going to be a sour, but it is an ale. It's a lighter ale. It's at 4.8%. Brewed here in Colorado and Denver. And Great Divide's got a pretty good reputation. I've actually been to, I don't know, I think it's called a tap house. It's just where they have a bunch of stuff on tap, and it's not a bar. I don't think it's a bar at a brewery. Usually it's considered tap house.
Right.
But I think they've had pretty good beer, and definitely first time having this one. I would say I actually think it does a pretty good job of immediately hitting those kind of raspberry notes. I don't know. What about you, man?
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be more on that, like a sour, but it definitely comes in just it's a fruity beer. Fruity beer. If you're a fruity beer drinker, like it definitely classifies as that, especially if you're an anti-fruity beer drinker. But it's not too sour. It just tastes like we got a good smooth beer with that raspberry in there. It's strong enough. It's not like there's not a hint of it.
Yeah.
It's there for sure.
And I here's the thing too. I don't think you could tell me that that's orange or blueberry or like, I think it is distinct enough that I'm like, that's raspberry beer. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. If you tell me it was like a citrusy or something like that, I'd call you out and say they didn't do a good job, that they missed the mark, but they definitely got those notes. Trying to think of anything else that really kind of comes off. It has an ale flavor. And I know Great Divide might not like this, but it really kind of gives me like I'll be honest, man, kind of like a Busch Light. Like it gives me like a little bit of like a Busch, or even like a Dale's Pale Ale.
Just like
taste.
A Busch with a White Claw poured in it. A Busch with like a raspberry White
Maybe,
Claw.
yeah. I don't know. We'd have to see if we can. What if that's just what they do at the factory? Like in their brewery, they're just like buying out every single kind of raspberry White Claw they can find and just pouring it into their ale.
Not a bad idea.
I feel like that's a terrible idea.
Well, yeah, probably. bad returns.
Well, for all of you out there listening, definitely hope you're enjoying your beverage of choice. If you're able to get a wild raspberry to sit down with us and enjoy, awesome. Nice. I don't know if anyone picked that up, but Connor just had a good 2-second burp. Connor, you might actually want to inform everyone why you might tap out and only finish half your beer today.
Yeah, so I, after recording last week's podcast, went home, woke up in the morning, and my tummy was a little rumbly and a little hurting, so I went and sat on the pot. Didn't fix it. That's okay. So it went throughout my day, and it progressed. In the evening, started progressing pretty intensely. Like on the pain scale, we were probably hitting, 0 out of 10. We were fast tracking to approaching an 8 on it. And I was like, I need to get this dealt with because it was starting to get late at night. And I was like, I could push through to the morning, but I got to go to the ER. So I ran to the ER, and they gave me some goods.
They said you were backed up.
No,
they said you hadn't pooped in 3 days. I
wish that were the case. It was they treated it as a stomach ulcer, so I think that it's like an old man disease that I've acquired.
I was wondering when those start coming around, and it seems like 30's right when it's supposed to be.
Yep. So it's good. Working too much, drinking too many energy drinks, staying up too late, up too early. It happened. So they gave me some extra strength Pepto-Bismol with lidocaine in it, and that numbed it up. Now just taking pills.
The ulcer's inside the stomach, right?
Yep. So basically, there's a sore spot in the stomach, and there's no more stomach lining right there, and your stomach acids are just going at that thing like it's a speed bag. So
absolutely disgusting.
Oh yeah.
It's I guess it's better than, I always get these mixed up. Hemorrhoid. Hemorrhoid is the one on your butt.
Yeah.
What's the one where it's on your stomach and it's like your intestines pushing out between your abdominal muscles? Hernia. See, I get hemorrhoids, hernias, and ulcers all mixed up.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know which one is which when I'm talking about it.
That's like I had a guy once who had Giardia, but he told everybody he had gonorrhea.
Oh, wow.
And so he didn't realize what he was doing. He told everybody that he had gonorrhea real bad, and it was just Giardia, but everybody was questioning his life choices.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyways, back to the beer. Just wanted everyone to know why Pat might not be able to finish his, especially if you're watching us on video here, but did want to give a little bit of a highlight and a little bit of focus here. I'd like to do this actually for some of the breweries, especially the first time we're having them on. But just a little background information about Great Divide Brewing. Like I said, brewed here in Colorado. Dude did the classic thing of going overseas, having a good experience abroad, and grew his knowledge and passion for beer, and then bring it back home to make a successful brewing business. And it's brewed in Colorado, in Denver. They, if I remember right, only have 9 flavors. They're pretty focused. They learn how to do something and they do it and try to stick with it and kind of make sure it's good. And I think they do a good job. This is a beer that I think is an easy drinker. You could definitely have 2 of these and just be chilling. I don't even know if you'd really feel it too much. You're kind of drinking this definitely for the taste.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that it's I'm trying to think of what I'd like to drink this with. What activity and what food?
I think I would definitely drink this while cooking.
While cooking.
Yeah. Something about more citric, acidic flavors, like in sour beers or wine, stuff like that, makes me feel like I taste the food better while I'm cooking it. I think it makes it makes it a little bit easier to taste something, and happens to be kind of on the topic of the show we're watching, the Bear. It's a chef show. But yeah, I can imagine drinking this while I'm cooking. I can also imagine honestly pouring it out into one of those nice,
frozen goblet.
Not a goblet, but one of those nice glasses from the brewery that have the brewery on it, and it's made so you can pretty much pour your beer in and get a nice head on it. and having it with dinner. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily like it's not a heavy beer, so I wouldn't save it for dessert.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can, I think, drink it with a meal without feeling like it is replacing the meal. I certainly wouldn't want to drink it on an empty stomach like that. It is a pretty strong raspberry flavor, and I feel like I might make myself feel like a little gross, a little grumbly.
Too sweet.
Yeah. What about you? What are your thoughts? What would you have with it?
Yeah, I think that for like some beers, like you just know exactly when you drink it, like, oh, this is for sitting on the beach, or this is for like, when the snow's falling down outside. This one, I think that I'd have to go with, this would be a good riverside fly fishing beer,
Yeah, I could see that.
I
I like their slogan, great minds drink alike.
Mm-hmm.
It's fitting. We're both greatly minded and we're drinking the same beer. So,
oh yeah,
like that easy little ego fill right there. Yeah, I like it. I'm not going to say it's the best ale, and I'm not going to say it's going to be my go-to ale, but I definitely enjoy it. And if someone offered me one, I wouldn't say no.
Nope.
And there is beer I would say no to.
Oh yeah. Yes, it's a good little change up. It's not just a beer. So if you're one of those people who just want beer that tastes like beer,
get a pale ale. Get Dan's or Dale's pale ale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is pretty good though. What would you rate it, Connor? Whatever our rating scheme is going to be. I kind of like the thumbs up thing.
Yeah.
Because it's so not really formal.
or there's not a very like, there's really
it's not very rigid.
It could be.
Yeah.
They can only like.
One thumbs up is still better. It's still a beer you want to drink. Just maybe not everyone wants it. And maybe it's not something you can have whenever you want. Smoke break.
Smoke break.
Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, zero fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution.
Yeah, like for me, I'd give it a thumb. I'd give it a thumb.
I would also give it.
Thumb.
I'd give it one of my thumbs as well. So so collectively, that's a 2 thumbs up beer.
2 thumb beer.
Yeah, and for all those who are new, a 2 thumbs up. That's like we're saying, it tastes good. We enjoy it. We totally understand if someone doesn't like it, but overall, it's a good time beer, and it gets a recommendation from us. A 1 thumbs up would be like, it's pretty polarizing. Probably not everyone's going to like it because that really only means one of us liked it. Mm-hmm. And then like a 4 thumbs up is like, honestly, you're crazy if you don't like this beer.
Yep.
Like everyone should like this beer. You should be giving this beer in a baby bottle to your baby. Don't actually do that though. Like you can't sue us. It's a joke. Anyways. But yeah, so again, Great Divide Wild Raspberry. Check it out. Especially if you're in Colorado, it's in most stores here. So definitely give it a look, and I'd definitely be interested in hearing from our kin and their thoughts on the beverage and hearing what you guys all think. But transitioning on over let's get into this review of The Bear.
The Bear. All right, so when did this show come out? This year?
Yeah, so premiered not on cable but on Hulu, June 23rd, 2022. But I can tell you this, one thing I noticed while watching the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a close-up of his phone. It said it was 2021. So the pilot was filmed way back in like sometime in 2021. Not sure when though.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, for like it's not a super long time for
Turnaround.
for turnaround on production, and also if it was depending on how they formatted getting this thing started, if they had to pitch in a pilot versus if they were just rolling through them all right away. But
I don't know, man. I feel like this is definitely a show where like the pilot was filmed and they were like, let's see if anyone wants to watch this. Mm-hmm. And see what the reviewers think, and then maybe we'll make a full series. Because for those of you that don't know, brief synopsis of the show follows this young man named Carmy. He's a chef, played by Jeremy Allen White, who you might recognize if you watch Shameless. I didn't watch Shameless, but I know that's what kind of got him into his stardom. And he plays a chef who's just taken over his dead brother's restaurant in Chicagoland. It's called The Original Beef, and he's trying to pretty much save this restaurant because it's beyond the Titanic. Like, this thing is underwater. He's kind of trying to bring it back to the surface and keep it afloat and try to salvage something from it. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty raw show. Definitely like a show to be warned. Like, you're not going to get any like nudity, at least that I can remember. I've seen the whole season. Pat here just has watched the first episode. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, like, there's a lot of foul language. So just be prepared for that if like that's something you're sensitive to, or if you got a lot of youngins running around. Also, super heavy adult themes. There's definitely a couple episodes that go really deep into the whole, trauma of being a family member who doesn't understand why another family member committed suicide. And there's definitely some pretty heavy topics about that. So, but overall, like, no real violence that I can think of, anything like that. It's just a very honest show. And it takes almost entirely place in this kitchen of this restaurant where he's trying to keep it afloat. So yeah, Carmy, the main character, is also like, first episode, you see that he comes from a background of being like an elite chef, like working for some of the best restaurants in the world. He's kind of like this, prodigy. Yeah. And even then, like, there's still people up in his head and his ears telling him like, you suck, you shouldn't be here, you're a piece of shit. You're totally ruining this restaurant right now with how bad you are managing these things. Yeah. And it immediately lets you know, like, this dude's been under a lot of stress before, and the stress of this kitchen isn't new to him, but it's very personal because it was what his brother left to him after his death. So, yeah, but yeah, that's the background for all of you.
Yeah, it seems like in that first episode, he's not just trying to keep it afloat, also trying to like keep it going, but also like bring what he knows he can bring to it from his experience and his ability. And so he's up against like the tradition or the old ways of things, and he's trying to, that's where he rubs against his cousin and those things in that first episode.
It's actually, that's a confusing part. Not cousin. They just call each other cousin. Oh. It's like the term of endearment.
Really?
Yeah. But I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, it's definitely like grinding because he's the boss. Like, he owns the restaurant, and everyone's just saying like, shut the fuck up, get out of my way. And it's one of those things you're just like, holy smokes, like the amount of patience this guy has going into this environment and not just firing these people left and right to replace him with someone who will listen to him. I mean, it really shows you like, okay, he's a sincere guy. He cares. He understands that people in this kitchen have been here for a long time. They worked with his brother. This is also their livelihood, and that he's coming in as a foreigner, even though he's the boss, he owns the place, but still he's coming in as like, he need to almost earn their respect still.
Yeah. Yeah. The the opening scene, it can hit a little home for me with my story from like earlier this week, where it shows he's smoking a cigarette and he's got Pepto-Bismol and Tums and all this stuff stacking up against him, and he's got bills that are all pink and all this stuff over him. It's like, as a business owner, and then also like, someone who's like last week, a little bit of a stress-induced stomach ulcer situation, also personal lack of taking care of yourself and eating the right foods. But it was funny to watch him, and just the way they film the shot angles and the way that they do the pacing and the editing really it puts you in his shoes so well in these first few scenes. And I really like shows have been shot like this before, but it felt unique. It felt unique watching those shots and those pacings.
I felt like his inner thoughts were my thoughts, like,
Right.
because he almost doesn't have the most dialogue, I think, in the first episode. Like, I think that goes to the guy he refers to as cousin, Richie. And I think like exactly like you said, like I found like I was relating to him because he wasn't talking, and I just felt like I could see on his face that he was having the same thoughts I have of like, this is so bad. This whole situation sucks. What am I going to do? This is so overwhelmed, and I'm just trying to keep this thing operating. I mean, it immediately starts off where like he needs X amount of pounds of beef for his restaurant called The Original Beef.
He needs 200 or 250 and he gets 25.
25 pounds. And the dude who delivers is like, tough shit, bro. Like, I can't give you more. And he's like doing almost drug deals to get more beef.
Yeah, he sells his like wardrobe and stuff, and I thought that was sweet because it was showing this like he just is all in scrapper with so much grit to like, and he wants it to happen so bad. He's not gonna let it fail. Like, he's gonna do everything in his power to not let it fail. And have you ever worked in a kitchen before?
Mm-hmm.
And so I
worked in a kitchen as a volunteer in a hostel in Norway.
Was it high pace like this feeling, or?
I would say I wasn't an experienced enough cook at the time to really be like doing most of the cooking. I was in like the dishwashing area.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like using the Hobart, I think is what it's called. It's the big dishwasher where you pull the lever down and it super quickly cleans everything, really hot water. And that felt stressful because I was having to clean and get clean dishes out really quick. But like, I have no idea what it's like to be under the pressure of cooking. I feel like when I was watching, I was like, if you work in the food industry or in the kitchen and in that fast paced stuff, you really enjoy this show. You'll enjoy like the way that they, attention to detail of all the little things they weave throughout it that just have kitchen culture in there, especially like big city, high pace, kitchen culture, and so it's fun watching that. And I think that if you're someone who has worked in that area or does work in that field, you'd enjoy watching this. Yeah, I'd agree with that too. I mean, because I haven't worked necessarily, having to cut under time pressure of like chopping vegetables, and like every single slice you make's got to be pretty quick, because the longer you take to cut just a carrot, you're holding everything up. And I just found myself really fascinated by it. But I can imagine people who've actually been in this experience are like borderline probably gonna have like PTSD, right? Like just like they're gonna be watching that and they're gonna start sweating and their fingers are gonna start curling up, like because they're right there in the kitchen again. And I thought that was interesting. You mentioned like all the medicines and stuff that he was taking. And it's because apparently all the different things you sample while you're like in the kitchen, and not to mention like the stress too. But like if you think about like how much things he has to taste test before it goes out, like bro, you're tasting a ton of different things that are all going to be mixed in your stomach and battling it out. So, but anyways, as a first take, and that's what we're going to be calling these when we just do the. We look at the first episode of a series, see if it's good, see if we enjoy it, and kind of decide whether or not we're going to give it a shot and then do a review of the full series, or full season at least. This is a first take of The Bear. I love it. I thought it was really well done. Got me really invested. And it's only, 24 minutes. It's like,
Yeah, short episodes.
yeah, you can watch it on your lunch break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I really enjoyed the unique filming, and it is cool. They kind of keep, at least for this first episode, the whole story really stayed within the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like even like in the first episode, you don't even see them really serve any food. It's just like it's all happening in the kitchen.
That first episode, you don't even see anyone eat any of the food, really. Like, it's just like all about getting it out onto the product. You don't even get to see the experience of like if someone even is happy with what you made.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, and it like the way they did it shows that a kitchen is its own little world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like, it's funny when you are in restaurants, like waiters and waitresses are the like ambassadors, like liaison between like the customer and then the kitchen. And there's like, it's funny, like if you've ever watched like the dynamic between these different like groups of people. They got the customers, the waiters, waitresses, and then like the kitchen people. And like the kitchen people don't even actually like care about the customer necessarily, in that they're doing their own thing. And then the waiter and waitress, like, besides the fact to actually bring the food out, like they would never get the food if they didn't have someone like who was bringing it out, because they're in their own little world. Like one time I was at a restaurant and our food was taking forever. I was a kid and all of a sudden like there was just like, we heard a bunch of pots and pans like banging off in the kitchen, and you hear that sometimes, but then it was like excessive. And then there was like two guys outside and one was holding a kitchen knife and like they were about to go at it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And it was like,
I bet it was over something that wasn't important at all.
it was pretty much like over like kitchen stuff. Like in their world, it did matter. And this was their world inside their kitchen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
I will say, I thought it was really funny. My wife and I, after this first episode, decided we're just going to start calling each other chef when we're cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like, we thought it was hilarious because we'll just be going back and forth back. Yes, chef. Of course, chef. Chef, where's the olive oil? It's over there, chef. Thank you, chef. You're welcome, chef. Like, and I just think it'll be funny.
It is funny. I worked with a chef once who did like, it was this thing where it was kind of like a one day just working with this guy who was catering something, and he like was like making us call him chef. And I like didn't know that was a thing.
LOL. Bro, don't take yourself too seriously.
No. I always have to. I didn't get to be called chef. He was like,
oh no, I'm talking about that guy.
No,
yeah.
but the thing is like, he is the real deal. But it was just so funny.
Oh, he was?
Like he is the real deal. But it's just like,
I thought this was like, illegal Pete's catering.
No. This guy, he's a real deal chef. But I didn't know it was like a thing. So I just kind of was like, bro, no. But then like it's funny, like kitchen staff and like film crews, like they run like military. Like there's rank. Yeah, there's rank and file, and there's these things, and there's these do's and don'ts, and there's procedures and all this stuff, and like and once you're in their world, you better get with the program.
Yeah. I was always fascinated when I first found out that like the kitchen is a pretty intense environment, and some of the best stories and testimonies I've heard are from former chefs because of just like how insane their lives were, and how like, I don't think really many people think about it when they're just eating at a nice restaurant, but like chances are that chef in the back is like actually like deeply in the world of like kind of celebrity chaos. Like a lot of chefs go into like, they get wrapped up in drugs pretty hardcore. And like there's so much money in restaurants and eating that like it becomes very I don't know, you earn a reputation and of like how much money you're pulling in for your restaurant or something like that, or your business, your brand, and it could go to your head, and it could be like anything else. And like I remember the chef I was talking to in New Mexico. He used to work in Las Vegas at some of the like really big restaurants in Las Vegas, and he said it felt like, he was just as important as whoever was fighting in the ring that night, because he had to make them, dinner and feed all these people who were kind of like, constantly coming in for like these shows, these primetime events. And he was like, just the pressure of that and the competitiveness. And like, it quickly became like, oh, this isn't just dinner, bro. Like I will kill someone to maintain my livelihood here and keep my business and brand on point. And he was like, best thing that ever happened to me was that like, I got out of there, went to AA, got help, because They say it's just really quickly, like easily to get wrapped up in all of it and the chaos of the kitchen and like just how intense it could be. And it feels like life or death.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the way this show was filmed, the way that it was, the way these actors play their roles, like that's how it feels in this show. And they're making a beef sandwich, but it's life or death. And so for me, I'm excited to keep watching the show. And I think I would definitely recommend watching that first episode and seeing if it's something you want to watch. It's not a big investment, which is nice too, 22-minute shows.
Yeah, definitely give it a chance if you got Hulu. Unfortunately, it's the only place to really watch it right now. But yeah, I loved it. It gets a recommendation from me as well. And I'm hoping that there's a season 2 because I did love season 1, but we'll see what your thoughts are, Pat.
Yeah, we'll maybe we'll kind of do the whole season review in its entirety, and then we'll also see if there at that point if there's a season 2 coming around the corner.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. We don't really have for these first takes. We're not going to have like necessarily a fun facts segment just because it's usually just going to be a first take of one episode, and there's just not that much trivia and fun facts from pilot episodes. But with that, if you're new, thanks for joining us. Consider leaving a review so we know how we're doing. 5-star reviews with the best roast in the comments will be featured in upcoming shows.
And to our kin out there, till next time. Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.